Hey everyone, welcome to Body Language in Business Negotiations. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating and incredibly powerful aspect of all business interactions, the silent language we speak without ever uttering a word.
Indeed, nonverbal communication, often overlooked, plays a truly critical role in how we perceive and are perceived during negotiations. It's about those subtle cues and signals that can make all the difference.
Absolutely. We're going to explore just how vital body language is, from first impressions to sealing the deal, uncovering practical insights and some really interesting scientific findings along the way. Get ready to decode the unspoken. That's right. It's incredible how much we communicate without saying a single word. In business, particularly during negotiations, those nonverbal cues can truly be the most influential factor.
Absolutely. It's often said that actions speak louder than words, and nowhere is that truer than in the negotiation room. Nonverbal signals form the bedrock of first impressions, which, as we know, are notoriously difficult to change. A firm handshake, a confident stance, or even just consistent eye contact can immediately establish a sense of credibility and trustworthiness.
And conversely, imagine someone who avoids eye contact, fidgets constantly, or has a closed off posture. Even if their words are perfectly logical, that body language is screaming distrust or discomfort, isn't it?
Precisely. And the fascinating thing is much of this influence is entirely unconscious. We're often not even aware of the signals we're sending, nor are we always consciously processing the signals we're receiving. I recall a situation where a potential business partner, despite verbally agreeing to terms, kept subtly leaning away during the conversation. The deal eventually fell through, and looking back, that unconscious distancing was a clear tell of their reservations. Their body language was effectively altering the outcome even before any formal rejection.
So it's not just about what you say, but entirely about how you say it, or rather, how you present yourself while saying it. It's the silent dialogue happening beneath the surface. Building on that, let's dive into some specific nonverbal signals we can all learn to decode. Things like eye contact, posture, hand gestures, and even personal space are all sending messages, often without us even realizing it.
Indeed. Take eye contact, for instance. In a negotiation, sustained but not overly aggressive eye contact often conveys confidence and honesty. It suggests engagement and transparency. Conversely, a lack of eye contact or darting eyes might signal discomfort, a lack of confidence, or even an attempt to conceal something.
Absolutely. And then there's posture. An open, upright posture, shoulders back, chest slightly out, projects confidence and openness. It says, I'm receptive to this discussion. But if someone is slouched, hunched over, or has their arms crossed tightly, it can signal defensiveness, disinterest, or even resistance to your ideas. It's a closed off stance, isn't it?
Precisely, and hand gestures are equally telling. Open palms, for example, are generally perceived as a sign of honesty and openness. Deliberate, controlled gestures can underscore points with authority, whereas fidgeting or hands hidden away can indicate nervousness or a lack of conviction. Sometimes even the way one uses their hands to steeple can project thoughtfulness and authority.
Yes, the subtle art of the staple. And finally, personal space. Respecting someone's personal space builds trust and rapport. Leaning in slightly at appropriate moments can show engagement, but invading someone's space can be seen as aggressive or overbearing, causing them to pull back both physically and emotionally from the negotiation. Building on that, it's incredible how much our bodies can betray our true feelings even when we're trying to put on a poker face. This brings us to a fascinating area, the science behind microexpressions and other subtle physiological tells.
Absolutely. Microexpressions are fleeting, involuntary facial expressions that last only a fraction of a second, often too quick for the conscious mind to register. Yet they reveal genuine emotions like anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, contempt, and happiness, regardless of what someone is verbally stating. Pioneering research by psychologists like Paul Ekman has extensively documented these universal expressions across cultures.
So, even if someone is saying, I'm completely comfortable with this offer, their face might flash a micro expression of apprehension or even disgust for a split second. That's powerful information.
Precisely. And it's not just the face. Subtle physiological responses also come into play. We're talking about changes in breathing patterns, pupil dilation, involuntary swallows, or even a slight change in skin color. For instance, heightened stress or anxiety can lead to constricted pupils or a very subtle shift in skin tone. Understanding these signals requires acute observation and practice, but the implications for negotiation outcomes are profound. Recognizing these tells can give you a crucial edge, helping you discern genuine interest from feigned indifference or uncover hidden objections that aren't being verbalized.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about decoding body language, but what about actively using it to our advantage? Let's dive into some practical strategies our listeners can start implementing right away. First up, projecting confidence. How do we do that non-verbally?
Right, absolutely. One of the most fundamental strategies is maintaining an open posture. Think about it. Shoulders back, head up, arms uncrossed. When you cross your arms, even subconsciously, it can signal defensiveness or a closed mind.
I've definitely noticed that in meetings. When someone sits back with their arms open, it just feels more approachable, doesn't it? It invites conversation.
Precisely. And conversely, a slumped posture or constantly looking down can project a lack of confidence or even disinterest. So standing or sitting tall, taking up a reasonable amount of space, these are all subtle cues that say, I am present, I am confident, and I am ready to engage.
Love that. Another powerful tool I've heard about is mirroring. Can you explain that a bit more?
Mirroring, or isopraxism as it's sometimes called, is a fascinating technique for building rapport. It involves subtly matching the body language of the person you're negotiating with. If they lean forward slightly, you might do the same. If they use a certain hand gesture, you might incorporate a similar one a moment later.
So it's not about being a parrot, but more about subtly reflecting their energy.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of connection and understanding, often below the level of conscious awareness. When people feel mirrored, they tend to feel more comfortable and trusting towards you. It suggests we're on the same wavelength.
That's so smart. And on the flip side, what about pitfalls we should avoid? I know I can be a fidgeter when I'm nervous.
Ah, fidgeting, a very common tell. Tapping your foot, clicking a pen, constantly adjusting your clothes. These signals can betray nervousness, impatience, or even dishonesty. It detracts from your perceived composure. It's crucial to be mindful of these habits and consciously try to minimize them, especially in high-stakes situations.
That's a great reminder. And finally, we briefly mentioned this earlier, but cultural nuances. How important are they when we're talking about nonverbal communication, especially in global negotiations?
They are absolutely paramount. A gesture that signifies agreement in one culture might be offensive in another. Direct eye contact, for example, is often seen as a sign of honesty and confidence in Western cultures, but can be considered disrespectful or aggressive in some Asian or Middle Eastern contexts.
So, what's our actionable tip there? Do your homework?
Precisely. Before entering negotiations with individuals from different cultural backgrounds, it is imperative to research and understand their nonverbal norms. A little cultural sensitivity can go a very long way in building trust and avoiding unintentional miscommunications. It's about showing respect and intelligence.
So, as we wrap up today, it's clear that body language truly is a powerful, often overlooked tool in the intricate dance of business negotiations. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it and what your body communicates.
Absolutely. From those initial first impressions to decoding subtle micro-expressions, mastering nonverbal cues can genuinely shift the dynamic in your favor. It's about building trust, projecting confidence, and understanding the unspoken messages that often hold more weight than the spoken word.
Exactly. We really encourage all our listeners to start practicing conscious observation. Pay attention to your own posture, your gestures, your eye contact, and then start noticing those same signals in others. It's a skill that improves with practice and can dramatically enhance your professional interactions.
Indeed. And don't forget the importance of cultural nuances. What might be an open gesture in one culture could be quite different in another. A mindful approach to body language will certainly serve you well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. We hope you'll take these insights and apply them to your next negotiation. It's been a pleasure exploring the silent language of influence with you all.